Sebring Sunshine has created the Skip Barber Racing School and its Formula Car Series to one of the great tracks in North America. For decades, the Skip Barber Racing School has been the proving ground for young drivers trying to make a career in motorsport, but for others, it is a destination, a chance to play race car driver on the weekend. Whatever your goals, Skip Barber Racing School is here to help you achieve your motorsports dreams. It is a great racetrack here at Sebring. My name is Ryan Marine. Calvin Fish is with me here momentarily. Your regular commentators will be along here shortly. That's, of course, Jonathan Grace and Drake York. But Sebring is a place you've got a great history at, Calvin.
Lucky one here on my debut at the Sebring 12 Hours. So much history here, fond memories, but what a racetrack. It's certainly demanding. It's all about respecting the bumps. Most of them are through that final corner, turn 17, but the circuit has immense challenges all the way around. 3 3/4 miles, 17 turns, and all of these drivers, these young drivers, really would have circle in terms of would love to have a Sebring victory next to their name and on their resume.
You think about the names that have come through Skip Barber School and its racing series, Ryan Hunter-Reay and Juan Pablo Montoya. I mean, it's AJ Allmendinger. It's a pretty extensive list. When he wanted some more road racing acumen, Ross Chastain in recent years has gone through the school and sampled some Formula cars and things of that nature. From an entry level all the way to an already established professional driver, the Skip Barber School offers quite a bit. Speaking of offering a lot, this track offers a lot of challenge.
Yeah, as we said, 17 turns, 3 3/4 miles or thereabouts, but the challenges keep coming at you. Turn 1, high speed, really fast corner through there. It's blind through the entry. You really got to watch the exit there. Then super technical. Good overtaking opportunity down there into turn 3, named Christensen Corner after the legend who had so many overall victories here for Audi, and the challenges keep coming up on you. Tower Corner, Cunningham, really high speed approaches, got to slow it down and really manage those tires here. It's really hot here this weekend. Super challenging for the cars to have the good balance throughout the course of this race.
Starting grid on the pole position will be Matt Ailes with Jalen Batley alongside on the front row. It's Aaron Vasquez and Ian Osuna on row number 2, starting 3rd and 4th. Charlie Gillespie won't be taking the start. Had an incident in the race earlier today. Race control letting us know he's all right, but won't be able to take part. Baden Van Wong starts in the 6th spot. Then it's Sharid Kabir and Mark Jennis rounding out the field in the 4th row. Crucial moments here as these drivers are about to go racing, still behind the safety car, but time to take a look at the track, get a grip on the conditions as well. We've had a race since these cars were on track most recently, so you're looking for anything that might have changed, right, in the last hour plus?
Yeah, it's a little bit cooler here this morning than what they experienced over the course of the weekend, so they've certainly had some experience here. First thing this morning, the track is going to start to ramp up here a little bit, so it'll change the balance a little bit, see if they've done some fine-tuning on the race cars, trying to dial them in here, but we're getting ready behind the safety car here for the green flag.
Cars getting into alignment behind that safety car. It'll be 2 by 2, the 7 cars getting set to start this race. With, again, the pole sitter, Ailes, about to take control of this field in just a moment. Lights off on the safety car here, and we're about to go green. And when we do, you'll have the voice of Jonathan Grace to call you to the start. Jonathan?
Pole sitter Matt Ailes, who tried to get one over on Batley earlier in the day. He's got a chance to do it here. Safety car is in, and they await the start of the race in the green flag. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing. Second race of the afternoon for Skip Barber and their racing series. Quick turnaround between races. I'm Jonathan Grace, he's Drake York, and they are 3 wide fanning out. It's Ailes who tried to nose into the braking zone, but it's Batley taking that wider line. Look at the respect given in the racing line down into turn 1, swooping across the nose. It's Batley to the front again. He certainly didn't want to be in P2 for that long, but look at the squirreliness, the body language of the car for Vasquez down in 3rd.
Yeah, things got awfully tight down in turn 2, and the way race one ended, I think we were kind of left on a cliffhanger with that full course yellow coming out and things simply resuming where they left off between Ailes and Batley as they come down to turn 7. But looking at this battle for fourth to Osuna and Van Wong continuing their battle as well, Jonathan, they were racing hard in race one.
They absolutely were, but the top two have broken away, and this is going to be the battle that we follow for this 25-minute contest here. A little bit wide in the braking zone further back, but everyone keeping it on the black stuff. Osuna as well, we saw him charge up through the field. A nice finish inside the top 5 for him in race one just a couple hours ago. Not that much time for these drivers in the Florida heat to decompress, get a little drink of water, pour through the data, hop right back into the race car and do it all again. Here we go, the battle now further back. Osuna leading this train of cars, Van Wong, Jens, and Kabir.
They'll come down to turn 13 right here. Osuna right now holding command. He's not going to be challenged, at least for the moment, down into the braking zone. Van Wong really hard on the brakes, and that allows Jens to pull up a little bit closer. Kabir also in the mix, too. It's about a 4-car race for fourth as they head towards Bishop Bend.
Yes, it is, and here's the 6 of Thaden Van Wong. Saw him charge from 8th place up to 5th in the last time of asking. Already started in 6th. He's trying to reel in Ian Osuna, just a couple car lengths ahead. Just 2.1 seconds up the road over the nose of that number 6 car.
As they pour onto the Ullman straightaway, and you're exactly right, Jonathan. Osuna able to just pull out just a little bit over Thaden Van Wong. That's going to give him some security down to the braking zone here in Sunset Bend, turn 17. About 4 car lengths between those two drivers as they race in, and still Jens and Kabir still racing very hard, kind of engaged in their own battle. And just as I say that, Jens going to sweep way wide here through 17, get that momentum wound up in that 160 horsepower Skip Barber Formula car down the front straightaway. He might have a chance to get the spot down at 1 as he pops to the inside.
Absolutely nose to nose, and look at the 28 now on the inside. That's Mark Jens. Plenty of room given. Thaden Van Wong in that preferable racing line, but it is going to be Jens to the inside. And he'll make the move stick, but further up the road going off. I think that was Ian Osuna, and it was, but kept it on the hard racing surface, able to keep the number 3 car pointed in the right direction. We saw a wheel dipped from Matt Ailes in the first race, and it was 2 wheels into the exit dirt for Ian Osuna, but able to keep that car underneath him. But what it has done is it's brought Mark Jens right up under the rear wing.
Jens might have a shot. He is going to have a shot. Where does he go? He fades to driver's left as Osuna looking to hold that defensive line as he was looking in his mirrors frantically after that mistake in turn 1. And this is what he feared right here. An attack from Jens. They're side by side through the hairpin in turn 7. Jens catches the curb just a little bit off a corner exit. And with these cars being so momentum-based, Jonathan, that might hurt him down here through 8 and 9.
And what it's going to do, it's going to bring Thaden Van Wong into the mix too. And here he is as they set up towards turn 10. A little bit of a nose ahead is Ian Osuna, but still on the inside is Mark Jens as they hit the brakes. And now Thaden Van Wong and Sharid Kabir coming into this mix as well.
Yeah, this 4-car battle is they've all kind of closed back together, right, Jonathan? We saw them like this in the opening few laps, but now they found themselves all together again. The first 3 have broken away from this pack, so it's a very interesting battle. This is all for 4th with Osuna right now holding serve, but still has Jens all over him, and especially if Jens can maybe pop to the inside here in 15 or 16, may have a shot. Look how wide he's running down to the corner. Is he going to pop out to make the move? No, he falls back in the line.
Short intermission between these races, but what I'm curious of is how much these drivers studied what the drivers in front of them were doing in race 1. I think they're starting to apply some of those learnings here. Still at the front of this train, in 4th position on the road is Ian Osuna, but he's very quickly going to have Mark Jens for company again. Osuna already feeling the pressure, fading to the inside as they set up for the braking zone in Sunset Bend. This is where we've seen a big discrepancy in line, a big discrepancy in braking prowess. Ian Osuna dipping the nose in aggressively, but look at Mark Jens closing up towards the minimum speed part of this corner on the apex, and now they're going to be wheel-to-wheel, shallow relying, using all that rubber grip to his advantage and putting that Miguel F4 car now on the outside. It's going to be Osuna who hung it out on the outside. If he can tuck under and pop out again, he will be back on the racing line. Pass made for Mark Jens up into 4th.
That was pretty impressive how tight he was able to hold the driver's right in turn 17, no question about it. That car's got some great mechanical grip underneath Mark Jens as he's starting to pull away from Osuna too, and back behind that battle sorting itself out a little bit more than it was earlier. By no means is anybody out of the weeds just yet. Here as they round into 5 and they'll come through 6. popping out of the horizon. And so far, nobody dropping a wheel in this tricky corner, turn 5. We've seen that a lot this week on the sports car side of things. The Skip Barber drivers have kept it nice and clean and tidy off at turn number 5 here so far this weekend.
Yes, they absolutely have. We saw that in race 1. We've seen it here in race 2. Everybody in this field of 7 is pushing, especially this man here. Jalen Batley resets the fastest racing lap on his last revolution around this 3.7-mile permanent road course, a 2:18.9. That's less than a second off of his qualifying pace, and there'll be a lot more fuel in this race car now with under 20 minutes to go. But just behind him, less than a second and a half away, is Matt Ailes. Started at the front end of this field and caught Batley towards the end of that race. I'm curious to see, now that we've approached the second phase of this race, what Matt Ailes is able to do for the young points leader and for the young man leading this motor race.
Well, the other thing I look at, Jonathan, too, from race 1, you look at the start of the race, and it's been very similar with Jalen Batley laying fastest lap after fastest lap, but we saw Matt Ailes slowly but surely work his way back into contention, and right before that full course yellow came out to end the race, rather, he was right on the rear wing of Jalen Batley. So maybe Batley using up his tires early in that race. It's, again, this battle towards the back of the field, Jonathan, simply not going away. This is the race for 6 between Van Wong and Kabir as they round off the Le Mans curve.
Yeah, Van Wong has not gone anywhere. Kabir, though, has drawn, I think, as close as he has been, just 0.3 of a second, and now Kabir to the outside. It's going to be the inside of Sunset Bend if he can make the move stick, but got a much better run, so much so that Thanen Van Wong relinquished the position before they even got there. Sharid Kabir up 1 position into 6th, and he got the job done before they even hit the brakes.
Yeah, Kabir doing a really great job just maximizing turn 16. You hear a lot of drivers talk about that when they walk us through a lap here at Sebring. You always maximize your exit to the best of your ability to get that run down the long Ullman straightaway, the longest straight bit of pavement here at Sebring International Raceway, as Kabir doing that quite well to pick up the 7th spot, or rather the 6th spot, make that here with about 17 minutes remaining. Still early days in this race too, Jonathan, so much to play out.
But now Sharid Kabir, the rookie, can set his sights on Ian Osuna just a little bit further up the road. What does he have for him in the final 17 minutes of this race? Ian Osuna, also a rookie, joining the 2026 Skip Barber Racing Series. He's got ambitions towards a professional racing career, and he's using this series as a launch pad for that, the Michigan native. Doing a good job, but he's going to have his mirrors full with Van Wong behind already, and it's Kabir all over the back of Ian Osuna.
Down in the braking zone, turn 7, especially for these Formula cars, one of the best spots to pass here at Sebring International Raceway. And Kabir starting to find some juice behind the wheel of that 8 machine, as he is all over the back wing of Osuna as they're going to round here towards turn 13, which we know is such a great passing zone. But this one too, Jonathan, a bit of an underrated passing zone here. Turn 10, the right-hander, as still Osuna able to hold serve. Runs a little bit wide there in 12, and here comes car 8.
Yeah, they were nearly wheel to wheel as they head towards turn 13. Tucking under is Sharid Kabir, but look at the variation in lines as well. Ian Osuna feeling the pressure. Every time we get those close shots, you can see Osuna checking his right mirror, checking his left mirror. He's going to be checking both as he tracks out towards the center of the racetrack. Really high commitment part here, fellas. You got to keep it clean, and they do. Ian Osuna into Bishop's Bend towards the final sector of this racetrack. Emerges still in that 5th spot, but he lost a little bit of momentum, and now does Van Wong come back into the occasion? He was charging through the field in race 1.
And I'm curious to see what kind of speed Kabir has right here down the Ullman straightaway. He's been so good off at turn 16, and look at the run that's developing. He's going to tuck right under the back wing of Osuna. As a matter of fact, he's going to pull to driver's right for the right-hander coming up here, turn 17, as they draw alongside. And Kabir might have the spot. Yes, he does have the spot by the time they get to turn 17. Kabir has been so strong off of turn 16 so far here in this race.
And a direct 180 from what we saw 1 lap ago. Did the exact same thing and got the move done before they even hit the brakes. And again, just a little bit more of an inside line for Sharid Kabir as he takes the start-finish line. 15 minutes left, 10 gone in this contest. Van Wong still lurking in the background. But it's Sharid Kabir back up into the 5th position. And now you settle in. All right, I've made one move, you've made one move. What have they learned from each other? This is where the racecraft and the learnings there come in. One of the benefits of this Skip Barber Racing Series, you're not bogged down with radio communication, your engineers talking to you. You can focus on the task at hand, remembering what your instructors have told you, feeling what the race car is doing and what the grip levels are doing, what the tires are doing, and just focusing on your racecraft as well.
Yeah, Kabir right now, the 32-year-old out of New York, and you look at who he's racing with, Ian Osuna, he's 16 out of Michigan, and albeit competes under the Mexican flag, but nonetheless, maybe not more driving experience per se for Kabir, but he's also seen some more racing in his day too, compared to Osuna, who I said was 16 years old. So he knows what to look for, especially at a place here at Sebring, especially getting onto a long straightaway.
He has, but this is his first full campaign in a structured motorsport championship from the New York native. So he has some racing experience under his belt for the rookie, but he's using a little bit of that experience here. And he's trying to launch a full campaign, approaches racing as a bit of a hobby after completing the Skip Barber Racing School, but wants to take it more seriously. And I love the respect that's given to the craft and the art that is motor racing here. We ride now with Ian Osuna, who sits in 6th. And how quickly is he going to have Van Wong for company? Personal best laps last time by. A couple of these drivers. Shareed Kabir among them, but they did Van Wong too, continuing to set the pace. Jalen Batley at the front of this field down into the 217s. And there he is. Still has Matt Ailes for company, 1.4 seconds back, but last time by was a 2:19. Fastest racing lap is a 2:17.8. That's the fastest we've seen any of these drivers go all weekend long.
Yeah, and looking at the last lap times like you were there, Jonathan, Ailes was faster that last time by, able to cut it down to 1.4 seconds. That looked like a bit of a sketchy moment in turn 2 right there. Looked like a little bit of oversteer perhaps for Ailes as he's fighting that number 12 around the racetrack. And again, Jonathan, this is exactly what we saw in race 1. Jaden Batley gets out to a pretty sizable lead, but Ailes is able to keep in contact with him. And when the tires start to wear on that 11, that's when Ailes starts to capitalize.
A little bit of a pace differential between the best laps between these drivers, but Ailes, you can see the focus in his eyes. Clear visor as there's clouds over the Sebring International Raceway today with that humidity in the air. You saw it in the track preview, just trying to reel in the race leader. They had a really good battle that was paused by the full course yellow in the first race a couple hours ago, but now the 39-year-old El Dorado Hills native out of California just trying to track down Jalen Batley in the race leader, but the Texan has controlled this race from the beginning, and we saw that in race 1 as well.
So 12 minutes remaining in this 25-minute contest, so essentially at the halfway point so far here in this race, as Ailes still trying to keep pace. He was a little bit slower that time though through sector 1, and you talked about Ailes earlier in the day, Jonathan. One of the main goals of this for him is just to have fun. Well, as you'll hear many race car drivers tell you, winning is fun, and I think Matt Ailes is having a blast out there right now, especially with how good he's been running, but especially a win today would make this day a little bit more special, a little bit more fun. That's the feeling he's chasing here in the Skip Barber Racing Series.
Yeah, whatever the goal is, Skip Barber has a program that is meant to help. And the whole point of this series, too, of course, to teach you racecraft, to give you experience in wheel-to-wheel racing. But it's really a learning platform. Whether you're a veteran, you're in the Masters class, you're trying to use this as a launch pad for further racing aspirations. It's meant to help you learn and develop. And look at the body language of the car. Sliding it is Matt Ailes and Jalen Batley through turn 17. They are hoofing it. Best racing lap continues to be reset. Jalen Batley still holds that accolade. No improvements from the top 3 last time by. Personal best further down in the field, but Batley still holding Matt Ailes at bay. The gap is growing ever so slightly. It's a few tenths a lap, but Ailes is absolutely keeping touch.
He is, and it's like we were talking about in race 1, Jonathan, the yo-yo effect to rather for Ailes to close in, then sometimes he'll lose time to the race leader, Jalen Batley. He's going to lose time right there as he gets the right side of the car off the racetrack, and especially in these cars, they have a lot of power, Jonathan, but they're really momentum-based race cars. That is going to be a massive hindrance. Good news for him, though, he still has time, but especially with how fast Jalen Batley has been this weekend, that could be a very costly mistake in this race.
Yeah, Matt Ailes dipping that wheel wrong. Get a replay of it here. Oh, and you can just see him go off the track just a little bit. Finally able to keep it on the pavement. But he's going to lose only time. Now 3.2 seconds is the gap.
costly mistake down in turn 5 for Matt Ailes, no question, as Batley, as you said, has extended that advantage quite greatly. The good news for Ailes, though, however, is he is not under any immediate pressure from Vasquez back in the 3rd position.
So Batley continues to lead. We'll be able to just take a breather now, as it's now a 3-second gap. That can close quickly in the final 10 minutes of this race. About 9 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. And there in the distance, you can see Vasquez lurking. If you continue to dip a wheel wrong, that could completely change the order. That's the 25 machine of Aaron Vasquez. Ran 3rd in the last race, ran 3rd in this race. Part of the cool thing as well, this is a racing series through and through. You practice, you qualify, you go into these races here. You get 2 individual podium celebrations as well. You get practice celebrating with the trophy and getting to spray some bubbly stuff as well. And that's really fun for these young drivers too. Further back, we look at Sharid Kabir, who did a good job of making moves early on in this race. He had a busy one in race 1, continues to charge you through here. Get a little bit of a replay here from Kabir a few moments ago. Hard on the brakes, braking and just getting the car woed up. Oh, what a great look from our camera crew and our replay team. You could see the blister start to develop on that tire in real time. And how much is that going to hurt him? It's scrubbed off just a little bit. Sometimes if it's a little bit of a lockup, depending on the tire compound, that can kind of start to erase itself. It's just a matter of how deep that blister goes. Hasn't lost him any position. Again, just a little bit of time, but we saw Kabir battling towards the rear of the field. Now up into the top 5, setting his sights on Mark Jens ahead.
Yeah, and you were talking about in race 1 too, Jonathan, if you lock it up big enough, a flat spot will develop, and on these racing slicks, that's a very noticeable thing too. So at the moment, don't see anything visible on that left front tire that would indicate a flat spot, so he might have got away with it there too. And part of learning, Jonathan, especially here in the Skip Barber Racing race series rather, and the Skip Barber Racing School as a whole, is sometimes learning where the limit is, and I think it's safe to say, at least in turn 2, Kabir has learned where the limit is when it comes to applying the brakes on that 8 machine.
Well, watch him now as he heads towards that section of the racetrack where he had that lockup just a few minutes ago. Nice and clean on the brakes, tips the nose in, no problem there. He was fighting with the car last time by, and it's actually one of the ways he stays physically fit. I mentioned fighting. Does a lot of MMA training as well to stay fit, to stay in the race car. A rookie in this series, but takes it seriously. That's, I think, just a testament to how much goes into driving these race cars. I think there's often a misconception that being a racing driver is a little bit more physically easy than you might think. Not the case. Even these Mygale Formula 4 cars are physical. Your neck is sore, your head is sore, you are strapped in to a little rocket ship beneath your feet. You're so low slung to the ground, you're almost laying down. I mean, your toes are darn near up where your chin is to give you the lowest center of gravity. These are thoroughbred race cars through and through. They've produced such champions like Lando Norris, who have gone on to great things in the world of Formula 1. Indianapolis 500 champions as well, in Alexander Rossi and Joseph Newgarden, just to name a few. The laundry list of legends that have come out of the Skip Barber Racing Series and the Skip Barber Racing program are plentiful. Is he going to be one? Jalen Batley, he has controlled the pace from the 2 practice sessions. He was on pole in qualifying, and he went right to the sharp end to the front of this race here. Continues to lead by just a little bit of a margin, helped by Matt Ailes going off track just a little bit. That interval now 4.9 seconds. And fastest man in Sector 1, Batley, continues to be on the loud pedal. Little wiggle on the exit of 1. Got to be careful now not to lose the car, but he's continuing to push, and I love that. As tire wear starts to play a factor, he continues on and is continuing to set the pace.
Well, the thing that I'm sure is filling him with great joy right now is taking a look in either the left or right mirrors. There you see his head move just a little bit to look in the left side mirror as he heads through turn 6. But got to be filling him with great joy to see that 12 car right behind, well, not right behind, rather, Jonathan, actually quite far back in the distance. So I wonder if Jalen Batley, I don't think he's saving anything anymore, but the pressure is definitely not what it was towards the end of race 1. And you talk about guys like Alexander Rossi, who have used this platform to such great success. Batley following in the steps of Rossi in winning a scholarship to launch his motorsports career with the Skip Barber Race Series. So a cool thing, a cool similarity to Alexander Rossi, who of course needs no introduction or explaining in the world of racing. There's Matt Ailes right there, or Ailes rather, still holding down the fort in the 2nd spot. Really hasn't been able to make any inroads on Batley lately, especially hard when Batley's setting the fastest laps of the race and fastest sector times of the race.
Yeah, that gap continues to grow just a little bit, but Ailes saw him really quick and really strong, particularly in the 2nd phase of the race with 5 minutes gone, or 5 minutes to go. Curious if he can close that now, 5.2 second gap. You look at the history of the Skip Barber Racing School and Racing Series. It was founded back in 1975. They went racing with the Skip Barber Series just a year later in 76. You look back the last couple of years and some of the champions in 25. Ivan Machado Perez, now in USF Junior. Oliver Weldon, now in USF 2000. Sebastian Weldon, his compatriot, his brother, now in Formula Regional Europe, also competed in Italian F4, started here in the Skip Barber Racing Series.
There's Aaron Vasquez right now holding down the fort in the third spot. It seems to be where he slotted in over the course of the weekend here with the Skip Barber Race Series, and doing a solid job. You know, nothing wrong with bringing the car home in one piece, in the podium position no less this weekend, Jonathan. So a really good start for him here this weekend. Talked about him a few times already over the course of the weekend. One of the sim to reality drivers, earned his position through the Skip Barber Series on iRacing, which is a great platform for these drivers to learn these cars and to eventually qualify potentially for a Skip Barber Race Series seat like Aaron has done here in 2026.
Yeah, beat out almost or over 300 drivers on iRacing and advancing now into real world pace. Podium in your debut weekend in a proper race car is not a bad way to do it. It was a three-person final shootout, and he was picked by the Skip Barber staff for his positive attitude, his ability to learn, and his overall pace, and that pace has been pretty undeniable. Nice clean weekend. Sometimes a quiet weekend in the context of the championship can do wonders. Here's a look at some of your biggest movers and shakers. Jalen Batley started second, moved up into first, and Mark Jens has been your biggest mover. There's the 28 car on screen now.
Jens, as you said, running in the fourth spot. Has a little bit of company in the form of Kabir, although it's not immediate company. About 2 seconds separate those drivers, but we've already seen Kabir push it to the limit, and he's still trying to wring the neck of that race car through turn one with about 3 minutes left in this race, navigating the bumps. He'll have to do that a few more times over the course of this race. And he's been really good off the exit at 16, Jonathan. I think if he can get relatively close to Jens off of 16, he's not only going to have that good exit that he's been perfecting all race long, but the slipstream from that 28 car out in front of him.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on timing and scoring because this is absolutely a battle that's developed over the last couple of laps. And Kabir was on the move early. Mark Jens has made the most positions in this race, but Kabir has kind of gone with him in a lot of sense. He's 1.5 seconds back, but Kabir now setting a personal best in the first sector. He can see that with just 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go, Mark Jens ahead is just tantalizingly close. Mark Jens describing himself as a rookie in every sense of the word and really using this season to kind of just see how he stacks up to the rest of the competition. He's going to have some competition in Kabir, I think in just a couple laps time, maybe in just a couple corners time, but it's been Jalen Batley who's led the charge. That gap is stabilized right around 5.1, now 5.3 seconds as he takes the white flag. One final time. Been a pretty flawless weekend, it has to be said, for Jalen Batley, the young 22-year-old out of Houston, Texas. Next round, will get to go and race on home soil, where he won the winter shootout at the Circuit of the Americas, a circuit he's comfortable with. Here's Mark Jens. We check back in on Kabir. Just a little over a lap to go. And how close can he get in the final couple of quarters here, and then they'll have one more revolution to do it. Kabir just 1.5 seconds back. Is that close enough? Certainly not close enough to make a move, but that interval now down to 1 second flat as they hit the Ullman straightaway.
And again, one thing we've been watching all race is Kabir's exit out onto the Ullman straightaway, and he got a blinding exit right there. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to draw even or even make an attempt here in 17. We've seen a lot of late moves on the brakes into this corner in so many different types of race cars. Kabir, though, just far too many car lengths behind to make the move happen there. But turn 16 seems to be where he finds a lot of speed and pace, especially compared to Jens.
They take the white flag. You saw him back off just a little bit on exit. There's kind of this trope in racing when you're learning slow in, fast out, maximize your exit. Jens has gained 0.4 of a second, though, through Sunset Bend. One final revolution of this glorious permanent road course here in Central Florida. Jalen Batley looks to be untouchable, grown that gap to 6.6 seconds, but this, I think, is the closest battle on track here. And the 28 car of Mark Jens just trying to hold Kabir at bay. Did such a nice job of carving through the field, did Mark Jens in this race. Last lap were personal best for both of them. They have responded to each other's pressure. A little hop over the blue and white candy stripe curves from Kabir. You got to keep it clean. Plan ahead in your mind. Where are you going to try to make the pass? Where has your competitor faltered? He has the benefit of having watched the rear wing of that car. but everybody in the field has watched the rear wing this weekend of Jalen Batley. Again, he will go on to contest the Circuit of the Americas next, but he comes out of Sebring, the clear favorite, the clear winner of this weekend. And a couple corners to go, just Sunset Bend as he rounds the final turn now with 7.14 seconds of a margin. A dominant stamp to solidify his stance in the point standings for the Skip Barber Racing Series. Race one sweeps the weekend in Sebring, and Jalen Batley is off to the races. And a stamp in one hand solidified in this championship fight. Matt Ailes will finish second behind. A valiant effort closed in race one. Had a little bit of a moment, kept it on track, but kept in touch with your race winner. Here's Aaron Vasquez behind. He will finish in the third position. 2 podiums for the Spanish driver this weekend in Sebring. A very solid effort heading in Dakota. Back behind, this battle continues to rage on. Mark Jens with Kabir as close as he has been. Now down into turn 16, you can see both of them sawing at the wheel, fighting. I think Kabir is just a little bit too far back. That gap last time of asking 0.6 of a second. He's gonna hope and duck the head down and try to get every little bit of a slipstream as he can from that Miguel F4 car. Fades to the outside, tries to make Jens go defensive. I think might just be a little bit too far back, but certainly not for a lack of trying. Sharid Kabir carved his way up and closed this gap down. One of those things as a racing driver, maybe just one more lap, but they take the checkered flag. Mark Jens will finish in 4th, and it's a top 5 for Kabir.
Valiant effort by Kabir. I mean, he has every right to be excited about that one, Jonathan, and like you said, every race car driver has those one more lap moments. Here's the number 3, Ian Asuna, coming through the final corner as well as he's rounding out his weekend here with the Skip Barber Racing Series. And my goodness, what a treat we've been treated to here over the course of the weekend with the series. 2 fantastic races as there's the 3 coming across the finish line. Thaden Van Wong still running on the racetrack. He should be coming around through Sunset Bend to take the checkered flag. And as a matter of fact, right on cue, there's Thaden Van Wong. He will come across the line to see the checkered flag, and albeit maybe not the result he was hoping for, Jonathan, but what a lot of these drivers were focusing on this weekend was making all the laps. So Thaden Van Wong can chalk that up as a win to see the checkered flag in both races this weekend.
Van Wong finished the race and had a great charge up the field in race 1. And we ran green from start to finish. Wave to the fans in attendance here at Sebring International Raceway. Partnered with SRO America this weekend to showcase some open wheel action. And for Jalen Batley, all of these cars under the Skip Barber tent, holds up the number 1 with the left hand, and deservedly so. This cool down lap and victory lap for Batley has got to feel good, doesn't it?
It sure does, and this is a clean sweep in every sense of the word, right, Jonathan? Because fastest in practice 1, fastest in practice 2, set the fastest lap in qualifying to earn pole position and dominates both races, albeit he did have a challenge from Isles at the end, but Jalen Batley, clean sweep in the weekend, like I said, in every sense of the word, Jonathan.
Racing runs in the blood for Batley as well. Wins on the weekend here. Here's your full page results. 11 laps of action, an 8-second margin for Batley at the end. He was moving and shaking. He had the fastest racing lap as well. Matt Ailes stayed in touch for much of the laps. A little off-track moment was sorted. He finishes a very solid second for the second race in a row. 2 podiums for Vasquez, as we mentioned on the weekend. Mark Jens with a pump of the fist. He was elated with a top 5 finish, being the biggest mover in this field. What a racing circuit and what a pair of races. Let's take a look at how it unfolded in the second race here on Sunday. It was Batley who started second, but he didn't stay there for long. Matt Ailes dipped the nose first into turn 1, but Batley, confident on the brakes, confident in the traction, and on the loud pedal, took the lead before the first sequence of corners. This was a great battle further back in the field. Mark Jens was the biggest mover and shaker, but he had all of these drivers to contend with in the front of this field, going off track, but everyone keeping it clean, keeping it green from green flag to checkered flag. A couple of wheel-to-wheel moments there, but really no contact as well. Suna carving his way through the field with Thaden Van Wong in company. A lot of the moves were made on the Ullman straight, a pass and a repass here we saw between Kabir, Osuna, Van Wong. All of these drivers trying to make the move down the longest piece of tarmac on this straightaway. 2 phenomenal races here at Sebring International Raceway. He's been Drake York. I've been Jonathan Grace. We move on to the Circuit of the Americas. We'll see you next time.